up, guys? Adam Cook here, Nautical Pride Sport Fishing. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about wintertime catfishing, some things that you should consider doing on your next trip out. See that little bit of slime on our shoulder? Yeah, we've been busy. One of the things that we're going to talk about specifically today is finding active feeding catfish in the wintertime. And one of the best ways to find active feeding catfish during the winter is find out where there's food. I see guys do it all the time, and I'm not pointing anybody out. On lakes around here and on the river itself, you got guys, they come out there in the morning, they catch their bait, and the next thing that they do is they shoot down the river or the lake 10, 20 miles, when in reality, all the food that those fish need are right there. See, we're at that time of the year now to where these fish are where they're gonna be the rest of the winter. They're not going anywhere. You know, they might move up a little bit shallower. On a cold, overcast day, they might push a little bit deeper. But for the most part, those small transitions are just that, small transitions. They're not making big moves. They're already where they're gonna be. So, the good news is, if you found the bait, the chances are you've already found the fish. So come on, step in my office, let's break it down. Stay tuned. Alright guys, first fish of the day, and it's a good one. Oh man, nice beautiful dark color, ain't got no mud on him. This front we got coming up on, I think we're in for a good day. In no way, shape, or form am I saying this is the rule of all rules of wintertime catfishing, because even I make big runs sometimes, because it's just a fact, especially on a big dynamic piece of water, that sometimes those fish are going to be more active downriver, sometimes they're going to be more active up the lake, so forth, so forth. But we're going to stick to the basics for now, and I'm almost willing to bet my dollar on it that if you find a sufficient amount of bait this time of year, when the water temperature is in the low 40s, upper 30s, so forth, it could just vary depending on where you are in the country, there's a fat chance that there is going to be some hungry fish around, because those fish aren't going to be far behind their food source. But before we get too ahead of ourselves today, after saying that aloud, I realize that some people might actually struggle finding bait consistently this time of the year, which there's nothing wrong with that. I didn't just come out of the womb and know everything that I know today. I had to learn it based off of consistency. And we got a fish. Here's a little fella. I had to learn what I learned off of experience and trial and error. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. He's feisty. All right, we're going to get him back. Then we're going to continue. So, one of the first ways that you're probably going to find fish and find bait consistently this time of year is deep. And why you're going to find those fish deep this time of year is because when you're talking about the shad, they're not exactly the most resilient species in the food chain, and they like consistency. And this time of year, when the surface temperatures drop down, it's nice and cool, those fish are going to go deep because that temperature down there, 25, 30, 40, 50, 60 foot, is consistent. It doesn't have any variation in temperature based off of the sunlight. So they drop down into the water column, one, because there's plenty of oxygen down there, and two, because there's less temperature regulation. The second place that you're liable to find shad and fish this time of the year are in the back of the creeks where there's a little bit warmer influx of water. Maybe it's a more concealed environment where that sun maybe penetrates the surface a little bit more, and you'll find those fish and the bait up in the shallows. Now again, this is a touchy topic because not every single creek is going to be warmer this time of year. It really just depends on the watershed and where that creek is fed from, how much rain, how much snow. Again, we're going to keep it basic. This is something that you're going to have to do a little bit of scouting on your own. Look at your graph, trust it. See what the temperature is in the main river. If it's 42 right here, right up in this creek a mile or so, a little bit. See if the temperature rises or it declines. Unless it's a giant, massive creek that feeds into the main river, chances are it's going to be a little bit warmer. And you would be surprised how even just a degree or two this time of year can make all the world in a difference and hold those fish a little bit tighter. And we got another fish. A bad one. A little bit bigger. Good fish. He's got a little bit of mud on him. Bye, buddy. Sorry, I don't exactly remember where we were, but I believe we were wrapping up in the creeks. Typically, there's a little bit more warmer influx. The sun's UV rays penetrates that water, and there's contained and concealed environments a little bit more. There's more forage, there's more plankton for those shad to feed on. So, the creeks are a good place this time of year to not only look for big blue cats, but also find a consistent, reliable source of shad. And then number 3, which nobody wants to talk about, is the unnatural environments of finding these shad, such as like power plants, water reclaim facilities, mills. They're recirculated water back into the main river, and those areas are great. You're going to find large quantities of bait there. Heck, you're even going to find large quantities of fish there because it's naturally warmer. But we're not going to touch note on those too much because not everybody has access to that kind of stuff. And that's an unnatural way and an unnatural presentation of finding bait this time of the year as it is. I like to look at things of how they were before man was here, because that's what's natural to these fish. That's what they're going to respond more to versus a man-made scenario such as a power plant, discharge, something like that. Not everybody has access to it. So we're not even going to focus on that today. He's there. Sometimes when you fish this slacker water, you gotta watch these corner rods. They'll pick it up and they'll move with it and you ain't even paying attention. that for him. That's a good one. Nice dark color. Great fish. Look at that, guys. Whew. Old Ripping Lips getting it done. Oh man, what a great fish. Alright, guys. Whew. Great fish. Whew. Great fish. Whew. If I had to guess, this fish is probably mid-40s. Beautiful dark color. Go ahead and get her back. Well, we're at a tide right here. We're going to bounce around. We're going to have to go back on the hunt. Unfortunately, in a tidal river, you always have like a 30 to 40 minute lull period. It really just depends on how quickly it turns around and starts moving back the other direction. In this case, the way the wind and everything has been so funky, I don't think that we're going to see much of an outgoing tide right here. So, I think we're going to have to make a move up the river or down the river a little bit. Not quite sure what we're going to do. Didn't mark a whole lot of big marks here, but we're fishing amongst the rocks and some structure. And sometimes it's kind of hard, even with the best of electronics, to get in there and pick those fish out off that stuff when they're held on tight to it. Now, I haven't really seen enough evidence today to where I say, well, structure is the golden goose. But a lot of times that deep water structure, especially in the main river, can be super crucial for success in pulling big fish. We're getting to the end of the day now. It's about, it's a few minutes after 4. We don't have much daylight left. We're set up on this point right here. There's a big drop off. Like I said, there's a lot of structure, and it's right out here on the outside of this cove. So we're gonna probably fish here until about dark, and we're gonna start heading it in. Theoretically, what we're fishing right now is a good transition point for, as the sun's going down, those fish are going to move in here or move out. Hopefully we get one more to close the day out. Nonetheless, even if we don't, it's been a great day on the water. The weather is absolutely perfect right now. The last 2 weeks, it's been blowing gale, blowing all the water out of the river. It's made things super tough. Even though the fish don't care that it's windy, I care that it's windy. I gotta be out here regardless, so it really doesn't matter. But it's always nice when the weather plays nice with you and gives you a fair card every now and again. I can't really tell if he's a good fish or not. No, he's a little feller. That's why he was coming to us so quick. Pretty little thing. You lucky I ain't in the mood for a catfish supper. I hear you. Man, great little fish. Like I said, we're gonna fish a little bit longer. I'm gonna move up into this cove now. Yeah, I ain't gonna be out here too much longer, but we got a big front moving in tonight. Let's see if maybe we can pick a couple more up, and maybe they'll be supersized. But even if they aren't, it's been a great day.